Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Society of Bangor. I hope you had a second just to let that music kind of infuse you with the peacefulness that I think that Native American flute does. It resonates. So here we are, 120 Park Street again. Some of you were here last night. Some of you were Women with Wingers, and we had an amazing concert here last night. I hope you can feel that energy too. It was wonderful. And hello, everybody on Zoom. We're just glad to have everybody here today. Oh, and my computer is not off. Hang on. Sound off. There we go. Yeah, I'm getting myself back at me. Okay. So today we are here honoring the 2023 Indigenous Peoples Day. Is this the third year it's been a federal holiday? I think it's the third year, so we're very pleased to do that. We had thought we had a speaker, and then that person was not able to come after all, so we've recreated the service to be more of a conversation, and Joni Ellis and I from SURE are the ones that are kind of taking charge of this service and giving us an opportunity to talk, to think about things. There's going to be a conversation later that I hope you will all participate in. So now please take a moment to put your phones on worship mode. So for all of you visiting with us today, we bid you a hearty welcome to UUSB. If you have questions about our congregation, I think we have people here from Membership Fellowship, people that greeted you at the door. You can ask them questions and they'll tell you all about our congregation. And as always, we have some announcements. So the first thing is that this is the second Sunday. So the second Sunday always means, I believe there's going to be a chimes concert, a food collection. Is that happening? I think. Suzanne is in charge of the food collection. I hope some of you remembered that was happening. It's kind of funny because feels like it should be the first Sunday. And then we will have drumming. So Spirit of Drumming will be drumming after the service. So any of you who are interested in doing that, we got plenty of drums. So don't hesitate. Do not hesitate to join us. So Saturday, October the 21st is a very important day. We're having a fundraiser that is our annual yard sale. So we are hoping that we will get collections of all sorts of wonderful, usable, saleable items that we can then have in our yard sale. There is a list of times. Is this in the e-news? So we have a list, and I'm going to have it up here so anybody who wants to come check it out. But there's times like on Saturday the 14th, they'll be open all day for receiving things. Then there's time on the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, working right up to getting everything here for the 21st for the yard sale. So spread the word. If you have friends that are cleaning out their basement, say, hey, I've got a yard sale, you might want to give that stuff too. So just help us to make sure that we have wonderful stuff. And that same day, SURE is going to be hosting a pumpkin carving event. We're going to be inviting our SAE kids, and we're going to have maybe people from the CISV program and the immigrant children. We're going to invite them all to come as a community event. If you'd like to carve pumpkins, you might want to come and help. So think about that. That will be later in the day, probably starting around 1 until about 5, so that there's plenty of time for everybody to be able to come. And so let me see, we think we have a special announcement from our one and only Sue McKay. She's going to use a handheld, Atticus.
Good morning, everybody. Actually, I've got a few different announcements. Those times for drop-off, I don't want you showing up when the church isn't open. The Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is going to be from 3 to 6. Sunday will be from 11 to 3, and this coming Saturday, the 14th, is from 9 to 3. So we've got those posted out on the Dorothy Memorial bulletin board. Also, the UUSB directory In order for Christine to put together a directory that's worth anything, we have to have people's correct information. So if you know that the information is incorrect in the directory, like my email address has changed, please call the office and let Christine know. Thank you on that one. Now, very exciting. We have our fall raffle coming up. And I know some of you are going, oh my gosh, another raffle. Well, we heard you. People said, we don't want to do it in the spring. We don't want to have to sell 1,000 tickets. So we're doing it in the fall so you can sell tickets to your family, friends, whoever, over the various holidays. It'll start November 5. And we've made it even easier this year. We have put together travel packages. We're calling them getaways, and they are amazing. You could go and spend, depending on how many of you there are going, you could spend a weekend or a week at the Frontenac in Quebec City. If you're an outdoorsy type person, we have LL Bean guided adventure getaways that you could do. You could go to New York City and see a play. You could go to the Samoset for a week and go to the Farnsworth and do all kinds of things. We've got a laundry list of possible getaways. And if you don't like any of them, you can create your own. What could be better than that? So if you're looking for Christmas presents, you might be able to give one of your family members an amazing getaway. And we're going to have 2 prize winners this year. In the past, we've done 1. So the first one will be for $3,500 worth of value, and the second one will be $1,500. And for $1,500, you can do a lot on a getaway. Great Wolf Lodge in Massachusetts is an indoor water park. Think about taking your family to that. Check it out. It'll be in the chimes. It'll be on the web. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sue. Should I turn this off, or you're just going to turn it down? Okay. Me now? Okay. Thank you, Sue. Always enthusiastic, and I like the idea of the way they're doing it this year. Great to know that there will be 2 prize winners. So today is Indigenous People, I apologize. Tomorrow is Indigenous Peoples Day. And that is a very important opportunity for all of us to simply remember what the things that we need to be thinking about in our relationship with the Wabanaki and Penobscot nations. So tomorrow there is going to be a rally at Augusta. I don't think this is political. I think I can announce it from the pulpit. And it is for voting yes on question 6. Question 6 is simply making sure that our whole Maine state constitution is printed when it's printed. Somewhere in the late 1800s, they decided that some sections should be left out when they actually print it on paper. And so one of those things is the agreements and the relationship the state of Maine has with the Penobscots and Wabanaki nations. It isn't printed, so people don't even think it's there, but it's in our Constitution. So this rally is to approve having that be that everywhere, if there is a printed Constitution, it will tell the whole Constitution, not just part of it. So a few of us are going in the morning. We're going to head out about 8:15. We're going to go down for the rally. I have a van now, and we have room to take more people. So if you're interested in going down with us tomorrow, they say it's going to be over at 11:30. I don't believe that, but so it will be home hopefully mid-morning. I mean by mid-afternoon. And so think about it and let me know, because I've got plenty of room to take a few more people. So anyway, that's plenty. There's more in your e-news and the chimes. So I apologize that we don't have a children's program downstairs this morning. So we'll do our best to include the children. Part of it's going to be a conversation. Maybe they'll want to wander around. But I'm also going to tell a story. So hopefully that will be good. So now I'd like to start off our morning with an acknowledgement of our place on tribal lands. We are on unceded Wabanaki land, very close to the Penobscot River, the sacred waters of the Penobscot people. We, as mostly ancestors of colonizers, are living and worshiping on the Wabanaki land. May we pledge to take care of the land as they would and listen to their advice on best practices. No. I'm sorry we're not entertaining this morning, baby. So may we strive to be worthy of our place on this sacred land. Blessed be. Bye-bye. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We love our children. So now sit back, breathe deeply. Bring your focus and attention into the room as we prepare to spend this hour in a worship frame of mind. So if you would, let's do the introit.
Now I walk in beauty. Beauty is before me. 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 Beauty is behind me, above and below me.
Wow. We didn't have any musicians who could be with us today, so Molly's recorded the music that we're going to be hearing, except the things that we are bringing from the internet to enhance, like for special music. But yay, Molly, that was beautiful. All right, I think our chalice this morning is going to be lit by Natalie Norton, and I'll have Joni come up and do the chalice lighting. Ah, yes. Or you're just going to do it like that. Good.
Brave Space by Mickey Scott B. Jones, and it was inspired by an unknown author's poem. Together we will create brave space, because there is no such thing as safe space. We exist in the real world. We all carry scars, and we all have caused wounds. In this space, we seek to turn down the volume of the outside world. We amplify voices that fight to be heard elsewhere. We call each other to more truth and love. We have the right to start somewhere and continue to grow. We have the responsibility to examine what we think we know. We will not be perfect. This space will not be perfect. It will not always be what we wish it to be, but it will be our brave space together, and we will work in it side by side.
Okay, our opening hymn is number 1069 in your teal hymnal. Again, Molly has recorded it. All the words will be on the screen, but you can also look at the music in the hymnal and enjoy what she's done for us. Willing and able.
Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your
Thought my leg would be more dead today after Women with Wings all day yesterday, but I'm okay. So our story this morning, which we're just going to have you stay where you are as opposed to coming up front, is called Spirit of the Drum, and it's an Abenaki legend. Abenaki is more of a over umbrella of many of the nations, including Wabanaki and Penobscot. At least I think I have that right. Do I have that right? I think so. So the story is about the spirit of the drum and its relationship to the native people. It is said that when Creator was giving a place for all the spirits to dwell, who would be taking part in the inhabitants of Mother Earth, there came a sound. Loud boom. Haha, my drum's dead. Sorry, from off in the distance. As Creator listened, the sound kept coming closer and closer until it was finally right in front of Creator. "Who are you?" asked Creator. "I am the spirit of the drum," was the reply. "I have come to ask you to allow me to take part in this wonderful thing." "How will you take part?" Creator asked. "I would like to accompany the singing of the people when they sing from their hearts. I want to sing as though I was the heartbeat of Mother Earth. In that way, all creation will sing in harmony." Creator granted the request, and from then on, the drum accompanied the people's voices. Throughout all of the indigenous peoples of the world, the drum is the center of all songs. It is the catalyst for the spirit of the songs to rise up to the Creator so that the prayers in these songs reach where they are meant to go. At all times, the sound of the drum brings completeness, awe, excitement, solemnity, strength, courage, and the fulfillment to the songs. It is Mother's heartbeat, giving her approval to those living upon her. It draws the eagle to it. It carries the message to Creator. It changes people's lives. Blessed be. With this story in mind, we will now listen to the morning's special music, which is the Mosquito Dance. It's performed by the Spirit of Dawn Wabanaki drumming group from Maine. Sit back and allow this music to wash over you and help you remember your connection to the Creator.
Yo,
a powwow style drum, or like I have in the middle here, that everyone plays with a beater on the drum at the same time with a leader directing what they're going to drum. It's a pretty amazing experience to be part of. So I thank you to Molly for finding us the music that we're doing today, that we're taking off of the internet. Um, you can go ahead and come around and get that. She found these things and they're freely given on the internet, so we're using them this morning. So now is the time when we will pass the plates for our offering. Thank you for being generous. Our share the plate barn. The barn in Brewer is our share the plate. They are the agency that helps those in recovery, and they have really grown into an amazing community over there. So we will be sharing that, any undesignated funds in the plate. And we have a lovely offertory, again, that Molly found for us on the internet. Zoom, you can make your donation through Venmo on our website. Sorry? Oh, what do we do? Banco. Starts with a V, sorry. I don't do it that way, so I don't remember. Okay, now we are going to shift our energy a little bit because we have a reading that we found on the UUA website. And it is the start of a huge conversation that I hope we can just have a small amount of. I think that clock's right. We have about 10 or 15 minutes to have a conversation. I think, would you read it through one time, Joni? Maybe you can, you want me to do it? Okay. Or we can just show it and you can read one page, I'll read the next page, um, and then we'll sit down and have a conversation and go back to the questions. Oh, okay. I can read it off you want to read it off here? Okay.
We Are Not Guests by Alicia R. Ford. Am I a guest here in this house? Are you? Are we guests here in this house? And whose house do we inhabit? In the small world of our lives, the borders between us, easements, fences, gates, hedges, serve to delineate, to separate us, to remind us of where my property begins and ends, where your property begins and ends. If you cross over, you are a trespasser or a guest in my house.
All plot of land and the house erected on it. You've claimed it. It is now part of your self, your definition of self, your identity. If I cross over your fences, I am a trespasser or a guest in your house. What does it mean then that in 1845, the United States crossed over into Mexico and took half of that country? Took land, resources, and labor. Was the U.S. a trespasser, a guest?
Are there to be no consequences for taking what does not belong to you? Should we simply forget those whose house we inhabit? To speak of hospitality in immigration often erases historical context, the actions of the past that have led us step by step into this current predicament. Professor Miguel de la Torre writes, perhaps it might be more accurate to speak of the responsibility of restitution rather than the virtue of hospitality. Hospitality, in this case, implies that the house belongs to us.
That the land, that the resources are part of this house is ours, and we who now live here are being virtuous in our willingness to share. It erases the history that would have us remember that those who cross the border today, who's choosing to brave the harsh conditions of the desert, those who face the possibility of death, imprisonment, deportation, criminalization, are doing so because the U.S. once crossed their borders to extract their resources and labor.
It is, for them, a matter of survival. It is, for the U.S., a matter of restitution. The prospect of restitution is scary. Where do we begin? With Mexico? With Native Americans? With territories? With the descendants of those who were enslaved? How do we acknowledge and address the complexities of our history, present, and, if we're not conscious, future of dominance?
What would right relationship look like? What conditions and considerations would make restitution possible? And for us, Unitarian Universalists, what would it mean for us to shake off the idea of hospitality as a central principle that is often attached to immigration and delve into the concept of restitution? Whose house do we inhabit? For we are not hosts, we are not owners, nor are we guests. What then is our responsibility? So take a minute for all of that to kind of sink in. This was written for with a focus of of Mexican immigration. I think that this was written in 2015, but it is so pertinent to us today and our relationship with the Wabanaki and Penobscot nations, what we need to do, what we need to be thinking about, how we need to interpersonalize what the realities of all of this are for us, and then move forward with action. And that's what our new group, SURE, Showing Up for Racial Equity, is all about. And that's why we formed this group, and all of you are welcome to join us when we meet, when we do actions tomorrow morning, when we go to the rally. So we hope that you will consider, if not coming to meetings, watching for what we're doing and taking action with us, because we are going to be doing more and more. But I digress, that's not what we're here for. So this has posed a lot of questions, and we'd like to go back to the first slide, and Joni and I are going to kind of move our chairs to the front, and we're going to have a conversation. And we're not scripted, we're just going to start this conversation, and we'd like you to participate. So when you want to say something, raise your hand. We're going to really try to keep all of our comments brief. Okay, don't go on and on, because then our time will simply be gone. Let's keep it concise and try to simply make your point, and then we'll move on. And we won't get to all the questions. Maybe we should just start with this page. But we'll go back a little bit and we'll look at the questions and we'll see what we think is the conversation we want to have. So I'm going to move the Zoomers up with us, because you guys, I'm sorry, we tried to figure out how to make Zoom be able to talk, but we didn't give ourselves enough time to figure it all out. So thank you. So anything that you want, just please put it right on the chat and I will read it. So if we go back to page 1 on this reading, so here we are. Are we guests or trespassers? Whose house do we inhabit? And by house, I think we can bring that out away from just this house, which is also on unceded Wabanaki territory, but out to what's happening out and away. Do you want to do that, or do you want Sue to? Okay.
Recently online, I saw a joke about how to celebrate Columbus Day by breaking into someone's house and taking up residence there.
That reminds me of something else other than what I first was going to say. I saw a t-shirt said, "You're American, so talk American," one of the 47 native languages. One of the 47 native languages. Talk American, now that you're an American. But I think we should be paying rent to the Indigenous people. That's an idea. You know, the government should collect money and pay it out.
Page, how to make restitution, that's great. Any kind of other comments on this question? Oh, we got one in the back, Glenn. Oh, please.
I just want to make one comment, and that is, I'm reading this book that I found on one of the reservations that we visited in Canada last summer, and it talks about the fact that some people prefer the term restitution action rather than restitution, action, because it's much more important to put your thoughts into deeds. Who was that?
All right, every party needs a stick in the mud. I don't feel guilty. I feel like I'm a Native American. I was born in this country. There are historical trends that happen. 400,000 years ago, people migrated out of Africa into Europe. 20,000 years ago, people started showing up in North America. The Lakota Sioux kicked out the people that were living there and wiped them out. And it's just been going on forever, so I'm not paying rent.
I don't think he wants anyone else to feel guilty. I don't think I mean, even to emphasize so much about the historical issues might not be where we need to start. We need to look at what's happening right now and how our attitudes as white people inhabiting this place affect, in a very negative way, the Indigenous people.
Yeah, I'm not, the way the white people treated the people that were here before us, and they were here before us, was deplorable. I'm not saying colonialism doesn't have horrible aspects, but the larger historical trends is a different story.
I read a book a couple of years ago that Kathy Elliott had recommended called The Gathering Circle, and one of her acquaintances from Canada had put it together. But it was about a year-long gathering of, I don't know what term to use, whites with indigenous peoples, in talking in a gathering circle where everyone passed the stick, and it went on for hours and days, and it was I think it was a year-long study. But one of the things I really liked about it was that Gistanamuk, I think was his name, one of the leaders of the indigenous group that they were with, said, the past is gone. What is important to us now is the relationship we have from this point forward. And I think the actions, reactions, whatever that word, rest actions, are very important, but they must, in my opinion, be led and asked or created by the indigenous people themselves. When they see something that we can very much get behind and help with, then that's when I think we can, with their leadership.
Ellen? I wanted to make one comment, and that is that we have the book we just read, The Sum of Us, that Shore Group read, is part of it was helping to us to understand, and as white people growing up in this culture, yes, we are native to this country now, we were born here, and the culture we grew up in is a white supremacist culture. And in our selves, probably, just because we grew up here, we have biases and attitudes in our minds, not in what we want to believe. They just happen. And we need to start recognizing that so that we can turn them off and turn on better action and better ability to work in community with the people who were original to this country. Go ahead.
So,
Some of us, the sum of us, S-U-M, the sum of us by Heather McGee.
so we may not be paying rent to the indigenous people right now, but we do pay taxes, and these taxes go to our government, who spends it on programs, well, nominally on programs that help the people, but also on other things that, you know, maybe not as much help us. And so it's important for us to be conscious of, you know, what policies are being put, because the problems at hand are bigger than any individual, and the solutions will be as well. And it's really important to think about how our infrastructure as well is being put in place, and how this affects, you know, these historical issues.
Paige? Oh, uh-oh.
I agree with Glenn said. You can't go back. I mean, we have years and years and years of history of fighting over resources, territory, and so forth. But it's kind of like awareness that we need a new paradigm going forward. and it's not easy. Look what Putin's doing right now, you know, as we're thinking about how to be more sensitive and caring. So, you know, I think we're in a good place as far as attitude, and we just need to plug along and do what we can.
Thank you, everybody who made comments. Oh, okay.
The Maine Indian Land Claim Settlement Act of 1980 went partway towards resolving some of this question about guests versus trespassing. It could have gone much farther. Restrictive interpretations by the state of Maine and the courts impinged mightily on on the Wabanaki thinking of what they had achieved in terms of sovereignty. There are ways that we could support the restoration of some of the original thoughts of sovereignty, and you know, there's been a lot of action, as you may know, in the state legislature around that, and I get the sense that things are getting closer.
Thank you. So on this page, it's talking about whether we're a guest or a trespasser. I just was wondering, how many of you feel that we are guests on this land? How many of you feel that we are trespassing? How many feel that we actually own this property that we are sitting on and that it is our right to be here? And you can say you think that. I mean, we're not judging you.
I just want to say I think the whole concept of ownership is one that I'm struggling with a lot these days. A lot. I know. I just want to say that the whole concept of ownership for me is something that I've been struggling with a lot these days.
Yeah. And I have to say that I want to tell a very short story about ownership of spirituality. When in the mid-90s, I lived in South Paris, Maine, and I was with a group of people who were practicing native Lakota practices with sweat lodges and peace pipes and peace gatherings and playing on a powwow drum. I've played with Spirit of the Corn drum that's out of Sabattis, Maine, and I was doing all of that. And it really formed a huge amount of who I have become spiritually. And I feel so grateful to have done all of that. But all of the leaders of the people, even the people doing the sweat lodges and passing the peace pipe, they had been given these things by Native American people, but they were not Native American. I made a drum wherever my drum went. And I love my drum, and we made it with the idea that it was a Native American style drum. I drum a lot. You know that I lead the drumming group. I have a huge issue with drumming Native American sounding drum beats, because I don't know if I'm appropriating or if I am embodying and honoring. I don't know where that difference is, and I have talked to some Native Americans about this, and some say, you just drum your drum, woman, you just do what you feel is right. And some say, oh, don't you do that out in public. That's for us. That drum is our heritage and our heartbeat. I have Celtic heritage. We had drums, but I don't know what the beats were unless they were Bodhran kind of things that I can't do. Kim does really well. So there's a big thing for me around all of that, and spiritually, what am I inhabiting? Am I a guest? Am I trespassing on some of the things that I do spiritually? I identify as pagan, so I know that a lot of the same connection with the earth stuff was happening in the Druid communities of England, Scotland, and Western Europe. So that's my heritage. Where does it blend? Where does it be okay and where does it be that I am appropriating? Those are huge questions that and so spiritually, what am I inhabiting?
And I think the whole issue of appropriation is particularly problematic for us as Unitarian Universalists because we do draw from all of the world's faith traditions. I wonder about it in December when I get out my menorah and I light it. And sometimes I make latkes. I'm not Jewish. I don't ever intend to be Jewish. Am I appropriating that? When I go to Arizona and I visit one of the reservations and I purchase a beautiful vase and I bring it home and I set it on my table, am I appropriating something? That's where that whole issue of ownership and appropriation for me is kind of mixed up in my brain. And as I said, I've been struggling with it. And I think it is problematic for us as UUs because we do bring all of those other traditions in. I want to think of it as a way of showing respect and admiration for other cultures, but I don't know where the line is.
Can we go to the last page? We're getting already, it's already close to 11. Okay, so in the question here in the middle, that maybe you can take a brief time. So as Unitarian Universalists, what would it mean for us to shake off the idea of hospitality as central principle that is often attached to immigration or our Native Americans here in this area and delve into the concept of restitution? I wrote, Rosemary already had a thought, and there's ways we could do personally, paying what we feel is our rent to Wabanaki Alliance, the Nabisen, to Wabanaki Reach. They're all doing great work to get the word out about the Wabanaki people and help us understand our place in all of this. So you could definitely do that. Do people have other ideas about restitution, or do you even feel that we should worry about it? Maybe restitution isn't something you feel we should be even worrying about. So please speak up if you have an opinion or a thought. Yes.
Well, I agree with what Judy said earlier about asking the Wabanaki people to take a leadership role in this and, you know, help guide us and to say, what do you think is appropriate for us to do if we're sincerely committed to doing it? Give us some guidance along these lines.
And one of that include, Lori and I were just part of a pilot program that Wabanaki Reach is doing. One of the things might be showing up on Monday morning for the rally and making sure that your representatives know that you support the adoption of item 6, the referendum, and to vote for it when it comes around. Another issue might be to go to the Cross Center on the 23rd and stand with the Wabanaki tribes against the mining issue. Did you have your hand up?
Returning to sort of infrastructural and systemic ways that we can help, things that we can advocate for. Our infrastructure is very strange from what these what the tribes that we are speaking about have historically been familiar with for way longer than before we were here, and the infrastructure that we have is hostile to them. We have enough space and resources to make this planet home to all of us as guests, but we as trespassers is a we that is implementing these policies that restrict the liberties of the individuals who live in the society that are not, the traditions that uh, of the trespassers. And so going back to ownership as well, these tribes were not typically associated with a system of capital as well, and so they're not very wealthy typically, and so policies that help the poor will most certainly help these people as well. So that's another thing to be mindful of: affordable housing, better walkability infrastructure as well. This issue is very multivariate, and it goes beyond race and racial lines. I think it's something that we need to think about policies that help everyone.
Need to consider. I'm going to do the last comment is from Carol Vietz on Zoom. It seems to me that if we all, no matter what our background, open our minds and hearts through sharing thoughts, knowledge, and experiences, we can begin to answer the questions posed and perhaps not need the questions anymore. Perfect, Carol, thank you. I don't even need to say anything on top of that. Yeah, that's great. So I just want to thank all of you for participating, opening, thinking, sharing with each other, making this be a conversation starter, and doing what Tim and Judy are saying, being sure that with whatever action we take, we're doing what our native people of this land are asking us to do. It's the same with the unhoused, to do what they're asking us to do, not what we think that they need. So keep that in mind too. I'm so appreciative of the Sure Group. The books we're reading just help me understand these things so wonderfully. So any of you who want to join us, please do. Okay, now I think we have a hymn. We're already 11:05, so we'll sing our hymn and then we'll close the service. Blessed be. So, extinguishing the chalice. Natalie, do you want to come and extinguish the chalice? As we end our service this morning, we extinguish our chalice, the symbol of our faith and the fire of our commitment to learn all we can about the land we live on and the first peoples of this land. May we have a stronger sense of the richness of the Penobscot culture because of our presence here today, and may we bring this message out into the world. And may this have opened a conversation between each other and between many of those in our lives, our family and friends, as we help to begin to be part of the action to help this with restitution, whatever it ends up being. Okay, blessed be. So we will end the service with our traditional benediction. The music and the words are on the screen. If you don't know it, just it's one of those things we just sing, so.